Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botch Bots and Share Shots, powered by Last Word on Sports. I am your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight is the Concrete Dragon. Tristen Thai is back, aka Ikuro Kwon. Hell Contra. Brother, how are you, man? Welcome back. Thanks for chatting about some wrestling with me, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, bro, man. It's been a long time.
I I feel like since I've been following your career over the last 2 or 3 years, I said the same thing with Bougie. Some of you guys, I just feel like I have to check in with you about once a year or so because you guys do so much that I got to come in. We got to have the conversation. And this is going to be one of them, man. If you're ready, let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What you want to talk about?
Let's start with the MLW. You guys have been killing it lately. The new TV deal popping off, everything that's exciting and coming up. You just had Battle Riot VI. It's a huge 40-man battle royal. What's it like with you going into a match like that, knowing what's on the line and the amount of talent that's going to be in and out of that ring with you while you're there?
No, Battle Riot is always cool because, like, there's always going to be surprises and just a lot of eyes on who's going to come out and what type of matchups that people really didn't know they wanted to see until they saw it. 40 guys, like it's a lot. It's a lot of men, right? So going into that and also being in a different a different state of mind where this is my like return back to the Battle Riot, right? Like I can't like my first Battle Riot was Battle Riot 3. So and then I was gone. So to come back Battle Riot 6, to be, back with Contra and to be in a different position in Contra in terms of status. Before I was, I was the one that would take a charge. I was the one that would get, get the ass beat. Like that's what it was. I was the foot soldier and I understood my role. Like, yes sir, no sir. Now I'm coming in, I'm definitely more grown than when I left. I have way more confidence in knowing what I contribute and what I can do. And now being asked to come back, because I didn't ask to come back. They came to me, which automatically validates the work that I knew that I was putting in because it wasn't geared towards that. It was to get the eyes of to get the eyes of the ones who I aspired to work with and work for, and yeah, to let them know that they made a mistake letting me go respectfully, because I think I would have maybe parted ways in some ways, but at the same time, like I knew what I knew now is nothing is in my way now. So now you look at Contra, you look at the new Contra, some old, some new. Me, Cruel, Mads Kruger, Janai, Janai, like you kidding me, right? And Cruel, and Cruel is the IWTV champion. He is the scariest thing in wrestling right now, and Suzuki. Like, what I mean? Like, these is something where, like, this is like some 2K fantasy stuff, like that's what it is, but it's real life. And so the sky's really the limit with that. So the Battle Riot, going back to that, how I talk, going in there, I butted heads with Akira in the Battle Riot. He we eliminated each other because he doesn't know when to fucking leave me alone. So now this Saturday, it's me versus him. First round of the Opera Cup. First time being in the Opera Cup, which is a huge honor. And even though me and Akira are not really seeing eye to eye right now, it is the first time that two Korean Americans are a part of the Opera Cup. So that's pretty dope because, I'm always about a lot of representation, which, we don't really get. So trying to, small things like this make actual big steps in what we're trying to do in the long run. So this Saturday, yeah, check it out. It's going to be free on YouTube. The lineup is crazy. and my first single match for MLW in a long time. So in like 2 or 3 years. I think the last singles match I had, the last singles match I had was me versus Ken Broadway. That was the last in North Carolina. That was the last time. That was the last singles match. So a lot of growth since then, man.
You mentioned a lot of people, including Minoru Suzuki, and they talk about all the time in wrestling. When I say they, is a lot of the guys who have sat in your chair, the relationships that you build along the way, and having a chance to learn from these guys, and the vets that have been here. What's it like being under the learning tree of Murder Grandpa? Minoru Suzuki.
Oh man, like it's one of those things where you wish that you had a reason, a justificated reason to speak to certain people and pick their brain. And I think that's with any art profession, or or just in something where like you look up to the people before you, and that's one of those things where I got educated on Suzuki while I was wrestling. My knowledge of wrestling was not that deep in the sense where like I kind of only knew WWE from just from a kid, and then it just manifested into me just wanting to wrestle, and then I just learned so much about the history of wrestling while doing it. I think that's such an interesting way to learn. So learning about Suzuki while I'm trying to figure out my identity and seeing tape, it was like really, really inspirational. So to be able to be in a faction with and something like Contra, to share that with him and being able to be in a position to ask him things, to be able to confide, to be able to, you know, follow by example is priceless. And I'm looking really forward, I'm looking forward to it, it's awesome. Same thing like when I was able to learn with Simon Gotch and Fatu and the help that they gave, that they were able to bestow, and the help that they were given as well. Because when you hang around those guys, that's where the help goes. No one's bullshitting with them. No one's lying to them. The only things that people are telling these people at the top are the secrets, you know, not secrets that like can't have to be kept from everyone else, but secrets that have to be earned. So getting the nod from, the powers that be to be able to sit in rooms to hear these conversations allows you to be in positions of, of where you can, succeed. Like you know, I'm not stupid where like I know if there's a certain conversation that's happening, I know I'm gonna be in there for it, because eventually that conversation is gonna be having, it's gonna be directed towards me. And that's the, I mean, that's, and to me, like, that's the game. Um, so being under that learning tree, being under the learning tree of Janai, like she's been, just as a peer of where we've wrestled before. We've had a singles match before, beat the shit out of each other, but her travels are, they're insane as well. What she's been able to do, and how she'd be able to just rise like a freaking rocket through talent, and then you got Cruel. I mean, he's the IWTV champion. It's not by accident. I was there when he won it. It was, it's different. And now being together, but on our terms is it's a scary thing for sure.
One of the things that I've seen MLW push really hard coming through the last year has been, they've said it's kind of a new era from MLW. You see it in both the production value, the way they're presenting it on social media, with the talent, the way you guys are it's the perfect storm for a wrestling promotion. But behind the curtain, how excited is the locker room for the new era of MLW? All the exciting new things coming, and the way everything is stepped up production wise. What's the excitement level like for you guys back there?
It's a healthy era. It's a healthy era because it's a young era too, but it also has so many OGs still there that are just in that stage of their life and their career where they get off on helping. Like that's the climate. And I feel like with the international part of it as well, like partnering with with New Japan, and partnering with CMLL, and partnering, you know what I mean, like all the guys that come through Aztec and Lucha, like it just creates such a different bonding experience as well, where there's just so many different styles and so many different flavors. And I think that's what's always been special about MLW, is that it kind of really gets to highlight all of that, at the same time. But guys like, guys like when Bobby Fish comes in, and being able to just kind of talk to him on a peer level. And again, like learning about Bobby Fish as a wrestler, not as a young kid watching. So now I'm already meeting him as a peer. So to meet someone backstage in a locker room that already has prestige, the talk is different from the jump. It's not it's not a meet and greet level. It's a, how are you? Like, like still a sir, still respect, and always respect, but it's on a different level, where if I ask something, it's gonna come from a different place, because he already knows I'm serious. We can X that out. I'm sitting next to you. I'm not here because I'm joking. So if I'm asking you something, it's something where I really want to learn, and that knowledge isn't going to be wasted. So when someone comes like me and you were talking, and he can say, hey man, like, who helped you, or who, inspired, or like, where did you learn this? Like, and I can say his name for XYZ. Like, that's something where his legacy lives on. And there's just a direct other lineage, because if I help somebody out, and if it's a lesson that he taught, like, he just, his roots are just spreading. So I feel like that's what's cool about that locker room. And it also allows me to help my friends on how to read their, like, the locker rooms when we're not together, read that locker room a little differently, and how to carry yourself and things of that nature, because they help me in a lot of other ways, because they're way more active than me. So they help me in terms of keeping my finger on the pulse. And if I'm able to give back by being able to, like, help put them on in any way, whether it's, being able to talk about something that I heard that helped me in a match, or when I was able to get feedback from somebody, and this is what the feedback was, and then they get to take that where they go. Or even if it's something with, like, networking and things like that's, these are all things that I think is beautiful about the business in general, but MLW specifically, because everyone's there to make the show better. Everyone wants to make that brand bigger than what it already is. And I think that's when everyone's on that same page, that it happens. It's when other people have different goals in mind, and not in a selfish way. I mean, like, yes, in a selfish way, but not in, like, a vindictive way. But just, you got to be able to, take care of you. But this era seems to be focused on building the brand, and when everyone wants to build the brand, it's gonna, like, it's just gonna happen. So that's what I'm excited for, is the future of what I think's gonna happen.